Hello, teachers. There are so many things that we can do to set ourselves up for success in our classrooms. The first thing we need to do is to build relationships with our students. They need to know who we are, what we're all about, that they can trust us, and that we truly care about them and their well-being and their education. We care about them forming relationships with their classmates, with their teacher, with other people around them. So the first thing we want to do is get to know one another. Think about how you make connections with people in your life. You typically tell them things about your daily life, about your family, maybe about things you've been up to at home. It's similar with our students. The first thing I would suggest is just talking about who is in your family. Who do you live with? Do you have any children, a spouse, a partner? Do you have grandchildren, nieces, nephews? I think it's important to try and include any of the children that you have in your life because you want them to know that you do have little people or younger people or youth in their life, depending on what age you're teaching. So just building up that connection in any way that you can shows them that you have other people, in their similar age category that you can connect with outside of school time. I think that helps as well. Children love to talk about pets. I know for myself, I love to tell my students all about my dogs. I used to have birds and fish and aquatic frogs, so I would tell them about all of my pets. Now I just have 2 dogs, and then I have like a big love for pugs. So even though I don't have a pug right now, I still tell them all about pugs, and they always often will give me gifts about pugs and things like that too, which is really cute. And we read books about pugs and they'll find pugs, and it's just a simple way to connect. So if you have something you're passionate about, just share it with them because my students know that I'm passionate about dogs. So it just helps to build that little something with them. I'm a huge advocate of promoting literacy whenever I can. So one of the things I do share is my love of picture books. I'm that teacher who will often read to their class and I'll say, "Oh, this is my favorite." And they'll go, "Yeah, but I thought that one was your favorite." And so that's kind of how I roll with them. But they know which ones are my favorite, and because I'll read them again, or, sometimes you'll read a book to your class. You're like, "Oh, we've read that already." And I'm like, "Me too." And I love to read it again. It's so exciting. I've probably read this book 100 times and just get them super excited about the fact that it's okay to read books again. In fact, that's one of my strategies in my classroom is I'll read the same book a few days in a row to help build their comprehension skills around that same book. So I think it's important that we just get them super passionate about reading in any way that you can, whether you're a person who reads for pleasure, or you read things digitally, or even if you listen to podcasts and audiobooks and things like that. I think that's important to share with your students as well. You can talk about any travel plans. Me personally, I don't tend to travel, but I will tell them if I've been to a local beach or a local park, or maybe I've been for a walk in the forest. So if you're not a big world traveler, don't worry. You can talk about local places as well. This to show them that you do leave your house or that you do leave your classroom, because we all know some of our kids think we live, eat, breathe, sleep at school, right? So just giving them that little bit of sense that you are a human too. Children love to talk about food, of course. Who doesn't? I don't know. I do for sure. I like to talk about my favorite treats. And also I talk about healthy foods because I want to create that balance for them. I always want to make sure that I'm not saying, "Oh, I love to eat chips and ice cream and chocolate." And yes, I love my chocolate, but I also want to say, let's think about that summer watermelon. Oh, it's making my mouth water just thinking about the juiciness of that fruit. And so just getting them excited. Always finding those small opportunities to teach when we can as well, right? So teaching about healthy living just by talking about yourself. And if you're someone who's super passionate about certain foods or cooking or nutrition, things like that, here's an opportunity just to give them a little bit of taste of who you are in that category as well. Children love visuals. For me, myself especially, I'm a visual learner. So if you show me a picture of something, I'm most likely going to remember that more than if you just talk about something. There's some auditory learners, of course, as well. We all have our specialties, right? But if you just create a little PowerPoint and then you can share pictures of people in your life, maybe pets you have, places that are important to you, just anything that you would like to share that would be appropriate for your students. After you share things that are important in your life, I would have them create their own All About Me books. So one year I had them just have blank pieces of paper. I said, make a book all about you. It was a hot mess. It did not work out. So my recommendation is to give them some prompts. So maybe on the first page, they're just going to draw a picture of them with their family. Maybe they want to label who is in their family. Maybe on the second page, they're going to do either pets they have or maybe animals they love. Kind of make it broad enough so it reaches everybody in your class. But we want to just find out little specific things about them that will help them focus. Otherwise, they'll also be there sitting, I don't know what to tell my teacher about me. I don't have any ideas. So it just sets them up for success to give them some ideas and a focus to start with. I do like to send parent forms home as well to get to know my students. So those are the questions that you think your children might not be able to answer. So for example, questions, what do you like to do as a family? You know, we all have those students who say, I don't know, I don't do anything with my family. You know, what'd you do on the weekend? Nothing. Really? You sat on your bed and you stared at the ceiling all weekend? No. Or some will say, yeah, that's all I did, right? So sometimes getting that parent input can be really helpful. You can even ask them things like, what chores does your child do? That will give you an indication of maybe some things you need to teach at school, like cleaning up after yourself, putting your toys away in the classroom or your supplies away in the classroom. Maybe they don't know how to sort yet because they don't do chores at home, which is an important sorting skill. So it tells you maybe you can focus that in your math component, right? Ask who reads with them at home. That's always an interesting one if they, that also points out to your parents, hey, you need to be reading with your students all the time, or your children all the time. So I like that question. It's also helpful to ask for siblings' names and pets' names because then you have the spelling. Many children don't know how to spell their siblings' names or pets' names or anything that's important to them. I do like to put in there. I also do like to say what else should I know about your child or what do you hope your child will learn this year? Because then it gives you a little bit more of an insight of where your parents are coming from, what are their goals for their children. And I think that helps you to get to know your children as well as your parents better. I always say parents are partners in education. Just that's our school district's motto as well. And so it's super important to start building those relationships with the parents as well. So these forms can help with that too. After they complete their All About Me books, you can even use some of the information from the parent forms to help them finish their books. And then I have them share their books. Depending on your class, some of them might not feel comfortable to share them in the whole class. Like maybe you want to sit in a circle and share books. But let's be a little bit cautious that we want to set up a safe space for them. So don't force them necessarily to share their book with the whole class. Maybe we ask for volunteers first. And then maybe we just do partner shares. Maybe at some point you have them bring their books up and just share with you for those who might be shy. So we want to set them up for success because we do have those students in our class who aren't comfortable sharing with everybody. And of course, we have those students who just want to share everything with everyone. And so we want to celebrate those personalities as well. So giving some options about how you're going to share those All About Me books. But it's a really good thing to build your classroom community, not only with yourself and your students, but you want your students to connect with other students in your classroom as well. And the bottom line is your behavior in your class, it's going to improve because everybody's going to learn to care about one another your students are going to learn that you really do care about them because you're showing interest in them and their lives, and you're sharing a little bit about you and your life. So it just really helps to draw them in when you build those connections and you build those relationships with your students. So I think all of these things will go a long way. I will be doing some more videos with other tips for how to help with classroom management, because really it's the most challenging part of our job, I think, other than making classes up, because that's something we do where I live. I know in some districts the principals make the classes, but we have to create those balanced classes. I'm going to say that's probably the hardest thing, is to create balanced classes. But aside from that, behavior management is one of the most difficult things that we have to face every single day in our classrooms to keep things flowing, keep everybody safe, make sure students are learning, make sure students are happy to come to school, right? We want them to come to school. If they feel like you have a little bit of a classroom family, of course they're going to want to come to school because, oh, I get to go see my classroom family today, right? So it just makes those separations home just a little bit easier as well. So I hope you enjoyed all of my tips today for getting started with those classroom management strategies, getting some behavior modifications started just by simply building relationships between you, your students, and your students with your other students. If you're looking for some resources for your classroom, I do have a Teachers Pay Teachers store. It's called Teaching Literacy with Deb. Just like the title, you're going to find things that will help you with reading and writing. And my motto is to ensure that teachers are saving time by using the resources that I create that are meaningful, engaging, differentiated, and can help meet the needs of all of your students. So feel free to check out my store, and you are welcome to subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of when I post my next video. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me.